Let's talk about how small acts of love and kindness ripple out and affect the world as a whole. Hey guys, it's John sitting out here on the back deck. I figured while the sun was so bright and beautiful and the air was still warm enough for me to put on a thick sweater and a hat, I think I'd rather do a couple videos from the back deck while I still have the chance to because winter is coming, as they say. I'm sitting here enjoying a fabulous mug of John Show coffee, and I hope you guys are doing very, very well wherever you are. You know, you know what? When we choose love in moments of frustration, we literally are offering forgiveness. We're offering compassion. We're creating a ripple effect of kindness. Now, oftentimes people will come into your lives and they'll offer frustration. They'll offer experiences, and it's how you react to them that defines your experience. You know, you will often find in life you'll go to the grocery store and maybe the cashier is rude or something, and you'll find that if you are literally giving up your own peace and serenity to the cashier, then what's happening is you are living their story and not your own. You get to choose to be the author of your life, and every day is a blank page. Every moment is a blank page. And someone can be coming along writing a story of chaos, and it can be presented into your life. But it's how you choose to react to it that defines the experience that you will have. But understand that in that moment, if you can remain calm and you can show love and compassion to that person can make their own choice. Sometimes they're not going to make a good choice. They're still going to just be mad at you for talking love and compassion. I recently had somebody come on my channel and tell me to stop talking love, the flowery language of love, which I thought was kind of hysterical. I've been speaking love for 25 years, and I don't think of it as flowery at all. I think of it as my personal truth. I believe God is love, and I believe living in love. So when I look at this idea of he's going to make his choice too, that person's going to make that cashier is going to make their choice too. And but if I can offer them an off ramp of just being loving, just being caring, I'm absolutely going to do it because if they make the choice of loving as well, what happens is that we create a ripple effect of love. The people who are just wanting to be in conflict, they're going to just be in conflict. And so you're not responsible for their choices after you offer love. This idea of a ripple effect of love, it really does give you the opportunity to think about, I can start a momentum. I can start a direction where people can choose to be loved just because of the kindness others are now giving to them because of the kindness you gave. You know, the one person who stays in love in all aspects, he can change the tone of the environment. But the people who lock into the negativity, they're just creating more negativity and division in the world. And when you look at it from that perspective, is what do you want to be? Do you want to be the one who is promoting division, or are you the one going to want to be the one who's promoting love and compassion? I'll stick with my flowery language of love and compassion. Number one, because it works for me. I have tremendously beautiful messages sent to me every day. Every day, every day, I get hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of emails and comments telling me they love the work I do and they love the fact that I always stay with love and simplicity. You know, every small act that we do in the world, every time you help a person up on a curb, every time you do something kind for someone, it ripples out. They will be more kind to someone next in line. They will start creating the ripple effect of love that you started by throwing the stone of love into the pond, right? You've stoned it, now the ripples are flowing. And as the ripples start to flow, it starts to reach more and more other little waves. And eventually it goes all the way out to the banks and it creates this pond of love. Boy, this is really, maybe this is flowery talk. It creates this idea that we can be the impetus of love as opposed to the fighter of fear. Because in reality, all negative emotions are just fear run amok in some form. But to choose to be loved, to choose to be in this experience of love means you have to choose to be present. You have to choose to let the past go. You have to choose to understand the future is just the result of what you're being in the now. You also have to understand that the world doesn't heal through arguments. It heals through peace, through compassion. It heals when people come together. And it's an interesting idea to think about this because be the love to see the love, but sometimes some people just won't be the love, and that's okay. That's their personal journey, and in the end, they'll have an epiphany because we're all heading back to love, the purity of love, which is God, which is the other side. If you could just spend the first part of your day loving yourself, giving yourself something that you love and doing something that's loving for yourself, you can start the ripple effect within yourself. You start to love yourself and feel that feeling, that expression of love within you, then it emanates from without. That's what's known as charisma. People who walk into a room and the room lights up because of where they are. But it's because they're 100% present and they're 100% fearless. They're literally living a fearless present moment, and people see that and they respect that and they live into that. The only people who don't see that are the ones who are in the negative emotions and the fear-based emotions, jealousy, anger, greed sometimes. Those sort of feelings won't allow them to see the love and compassion in somebody else who's being authentic. And the interesting thing about that is that the best way to help them is to continue to be loving, be consistent in your loving. You know, it it's proven really true to me. It's proven really true to me over the past 25 years, ever since my first regression in 1999. I have been living this truth, and it's been wonderful. It's been beautiful. My world is surrounded by love. When people are around me who are struggling and having a hard time and they're in fears, I offer love. I don't expect them to take it. All I can do is offer it. All I can do is throw the pond in, and they can be the baffle that stops it, or they can be the love that rides it. And it comes back to this concept of I am just simply being the love, no matter what's being said. No matter what somebody else is struggling with in the world, no matter what's coming at me from the news and from all these various different sources of camps, um, my job is only to be loving myself. I could be an action hero or reaction zero, right? So I say that often, but it's true. If I'm reacting to the stimulus, I'm losing my presence of love. I'm losing my present moment offer of love that's sitting there waiting for me to just spread it out in the world. The butterfly effect, how the flap of a butterfly on one side of the world can cause a tsunami on the other side of the world. It comes back to this idea is when you choose love, you've just flapped your wing, and that wing can spread out and create a tsunami of love around the world. It's a matter of all of us doing the small acts, taking the small actions of love, helping that one person, giving that one, person the $5 bill who's on the side of the road freezing, giving them a sleeping bag, offering them food, being compassionate, doing the things that help people, go to the homeless shelters and serve.
And now, a quick word from our sponsor Coffee Time with John. This channel runs off coffee, so get your coffee and tea at johnsjoe.com.
For me, when the war started in 2001, I ended up doing 6 USO tours. Why? Because there were people who volunteered their lives to defend us, and the best thing I could do at my stage of life was to go support them in their time of stress so they don't create more stressful things, so that they can go into experiences more compassionately by just having the release valve of laughter for a while. And so I spent more time in those countries than most soldiers did because I wanted to serve. From 2001 to 2006, I did 6 USO tours doing that work. It was important. It was important work. During that time also, I walked to the Capitol with James Twyman, the peace troubadour, and he did a little concert on the steps of the Capitol, trying to bring the harmony of peace into the world. And I was there with him, and he did a beautiful speech, and I thoroughly enjoyed meeting him. It was wonderful. Um, but it was the small action of just going and just being, and choosing to do the loving actions in the world. For me, it's the ripple effect is literally as small as a choice. It's as small as saying, I am choosing to love. I am choosing to be love in the now. What the people who are saying I should stop using the flowery talk of love, I'm not gonna, because the reason they're saying that is because they're afraid. The one person who said that was actually very much espousing his Christian theology, and he was trying to knock me down for his Christian theology. And no, it's not who you think it is. um, it was somebody in my comment section. This person wanted me to succumb to his theology of a vengeful and jealous God. And I wouldn't, because I know God is love. So I am only responsible for how I react in the present moment. I am only responsible for how I live into this moment fully and completely. Awareness comes with the feelings. Do you feel negative? Do you feel positive? The positive side is of love, the negative side is of fear. And to become aware of the feelings first before you get your mind wrapped into it is the key to creating the ripple of love. Because when you feel negative and you identify it as fear, you can release the fear and come back to the love, right? What did Yoda say? Named must your fears be before banish them you can. Named must your fears be before banish them you can. So interesting, because we live in fear sometimes, and sometimes people will confront us with their fears. And understanding that they're in fear. They haven't identified or labeled the fear. Named must your fears be. They haven't identified or labeled the fears, so they're inside of it, so they have no control. The second they label it as fear, they will then create a new pathway, because now fear is external, something they can do something with. And by stepping into that space of understanding that fear is just that all negative emotions come from fear, that and you can identify the fear, then you can choose the loving aspect. Someone comes at you and they're in a negative emotion, they're in fear. They're literally in fear. They're calling you names, they're saying things about you that are untrue or whatever. That's their fear. That's their anxiety. And I just recognize it as fear and anxiety. And then I choose to be loving in that moment, choose to be compassionate in that moment. But the people who are still fearful are going to see that love and compassion as they're going to create a narrative around it that's fearful. But some of them are going to go, oh, gosh, yeah, that's very different. Yeah, you're not being harmful or hateful or hurtful, you know. And the idea of choosing to be a ripple maker as opposed to a agitator gives you the ability to and the idea of being a ripple maker rather than an agitator, it gives you the ability to create the ripple effect of love. It gives you the ability to be in your own integrity, understanding that you don't have to fight or argue. You can turn the other cheek when someone strikes you. And I don't mean be a punching bag for somebody else, but don't give it the power that they're trying to take, because that fear-based mentality will always try to take power. Will always try to take power. It'll do that just to be powerful, just to be important, to feel powerful. And if you give it power, you are subjugating yourself to their fears. And so to stay in this loving space and to put love out in the world with no expectation that anyone's going to take your love, you're going to find that most people will take your love, because everyone wants to be loved. Everybody wants to live in a loving world. But this concept of um, literally just hating or bringing anger into the world, no matter who they are. My sister and I have a tough relationship because of politics. My brother and I have a tough relation because of religion. They don't like anything I believe, and I just accept that they don't like anything I believe. I don't have to care what they believe because spirituality is a personal journey, as our mom said, right? Right? Um, but we're fine. We go together. We're we have our Christmases together and stuff like that. But the point of this is not about. I'm not responsible for how somebody else lives their world or what they believe. I'm only responsible for my own actions, my own present moment beingness, and the beingness of love in the now is all I can choose to do. Because if I succumb to the fears and the anxieties, I end up, living someone else's story. And people will often try to subjugate you to their story because it makes them feel like they're in control. And that's totally cool. They can have that because no one can control me without my permission. And I don't give it. I just simply don't give it. You can take this moment of compassion that you choose to create, and you can make it bigger and broader and reach out to more people. Or you can um, shrink yourself to match somebody else's ideologies, and that's okay too. But it always comes back to, for me personally, it always comes back to: Are you loving? Are you caring? What is the fruit that you're bearing? And if you're bearing beautiful fruit, then what's going to happen is you will create those ripple effects of love because people will see it and they'll live it. And that to me is my whole idea of this: creating the ripple effect of love in the world is just present moment choice to be loving. And I hope that makes sense to you guys. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. This has been my thoughts on this. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. See ya. Bye.